After the shocking violence that erupted at 10 Petal Ranch in Episode 6, Episode 7 opens with South Texas on edge. Rip Wheeler is furious. The attack proved that their enemies are no longer operating from the shadows, they are willing to spill blood in broad daylight. As Rip rides across the ranch at sunrise, he realizes that everything he and Beth have built is hanging by a thread. The peace they came to Texas looking for no longer exists. Beth Dutton returns from Chicago with troubling news. The business deal she thought would secure the future of Dutton Ranch has uncovered something much darker. Hidden inside a series of financial records is evidence that a powerful organization has been quietly buying land throughout the region. Beth suspects the purchases are connected to the same people who have been manipulating events from the beginning. When she presents the information to Rip, the two realize that the attacks on their ranch may only be the first stage of a much larger plan. Meanwhile, Beulah Jackson finds herself trapped between family loyalty and survival. With Rob Will's return creating chaos and distrust, Beulah is forced to make a decision that could permanently reshape the future of 10 Petal Ranch. Rumors spread among the ranch hands that she may be preparing to name a successor. Some believe it will be Joaquin. Others think Orina is secretly being groomed to inherit everything. The uncertainty creates divisions that threaten to tear the ranch apart. Elsewhere, Carter is struggling emotionally. His relationship with Orina has become increasingly complicated after their awkward encounter in Episode 6. Carter tries to focus on work, but his feelings continue to distract him. During a routine cattle run, he discovers evidence that someone has been entering Dutton Ranch property without being seen. Fresh tire tracks lead toward an abandoned section of land near the river. Ignoring Rip's instructions, Carter decides to investigate alone. What he finds changes everything. Hidden among the trees is an old campsite containing weapons, maps, and photographs of both Beth and Rip. Someone has been watching them. Someone has been planning something, and Carter may have just exposed himself as the next target. Back at the ranch house, Beth receives an anonymous package. Inside is a single photograph taken years ago in Montana. The image immediately terrifies her because it connects to a secret she thought had been buried forever. Beth refuses to tell Rip the full truth, but her fear becomes impossible to hide. For the first time since arriving in Texas, Rip notices that Beth is genuinely afraid. That realization pushes him toward a decision that could start an all-out war. As night falls, Rip gathers trusted ranch hands and prepares for retaliation. Rip Wheeler is the first person awake. Standing outside the ranch house, he stares across the property as the sun slowly rises. For weeks, he has tried to keep the ranch together while protecting Beth and the people they care about. But deep down, Rip knows the attacks are becoming more organized. Whoever is targeting Dutton Ranch is no longer testing them. They're preparing for something much bigger. Inside the house, Beth Dutton studies documents spread across the kitchen table. She has spent the entire night investigating land purchases connected to powerful investors. The deeper she digs, the more disturbing the truth becomes. Entire sections of Texas ranchland are quietly being bought through shell companies. No one knows who is behind them. No one knows what their final goal is. But Beth is convinced the acquisitions are connected to the growing violence surrounding Dutton Ranch. When Rip enters the room, Beth shows him a map covered with red markings. The locations form a circle around their ranch. They're being surrounded. Rip immediately understands what it means. Someone isn't trying to buy Dutton Ranch. Someone is trying to isolate it. Meanwhile, Carter continues dealing with the consequences of his recent mistakes. Wanting to prove himself, he throws himself into ranch work. But while checking fencing near the northern boundary, he notices fresh tire tracks crossing private property. The tracks weren't there the day before. Carter follows them for nearly a mile. The trail eventually leads to an abandoned hunting cabin hidden deep inside a wooded area. The closer he gets, the more nervous he becomes. Then he hears voices. Several armed men are gathered inside. They're discussing Dutton Ranch. One of them unfolds aerial photographs showing Beth, Rip, and several ranch hands. Carter suddenly realizes these men have been watching them for weeks. Before he can leave, a branch snaps beneath his boot. The voices stop. Silence fills the forest. Someone outside the cabin whispers, "Did you hear that?" Carter runs. The men chase him through the trees. Gunshots explode behind him. Bullets tear through branches. For several terrifying minutes, Carter fights for his life before finally escaping and reaching the ranch. When he tells Rip what happened, everything changes. Rip immediately calls an emergency meeting. For the first time, everyone understands the threat is real. This isn't a business dispute. This is war. At the same time, Beulah Jackson finds herself facing growing pressure from all sides. The future of 10 Petal Ranch remains uncertain. Longtime allies are beginning to question her leadership, while outsiders are exploiting the chaos to strengthen their influence. During a tense family gathering, old wounds reopen. Arguments turn personal. Secrets from the past are revealed. During a tense family gathering, old wounds reopen. Arguments turn personal. Secrets from the past are revealed. Relationships that seemed unbreakable suddenly begin falling apart. One shocking accusation leaves the entire room silent. A family member claims that someone inside the ranch has been secretly helping their enemies. Nobody knows whether to believe it. But suspicion quickly spreads. By evening, trust has completely disappeared. Back at Dutton Ranch, Beth receives unexpected news. A private investigator she hired finally uncovers the identity of one of the shell companies purchasing land around Texas. The discovery leaves her speechless. The company has direct ties to powerful individuals connected to her family's past. People Beth thought she had defeated years ago. People she never expected to see again. Beth realizes this battle may not be about Texas at all. It may actually be the latest chapter in a conflict that began long before she arrived. Determined to fight back, Beth travels into town to confront one of the investors personally. The meeting becomes explosive. Neither side backs down. Threats are exchanged. Security guards are forced to intervene. As Beth leaves, the investor delivers a chilling warning: "You still don't understand who you're fighting." For the first time all season, Beth looks genuinely shaken. Later that night, Rip assembles his most trusted ranch hands. He refuses to sit back and wait for another attack. The group prepares a dangerous operation aimed at gathering evidence against the people targeting the ranch. Under the cover of darkness, trucks quietly leave the property. The mission begins smoothly. Too smoothly. As they approach an abandoned industrial site linked to their enemies, Rip senses something isn't right. The place is empty. No guards. No vehicles. No activity. Then floodlights suddenly illuminate the area. They're surrounded. An ambush. Dozens of armed men emerge from every direction. Chaos erupts instantly. Gunfire echoes across the night. Trucks crash through barriers. Men dive for cover. The battle becomes the most intense confrontation of the season. Rip fights his way through the firefight, refusing to retreat. But during the chaos, one of his closest allies is struck by a bullet. The injured ranch hand collapses. Rip rushes toward him as more shots ring out. The scene ends with emergency vehicles racing toward the area. Back at the ranch, Beth receives a phone call. She answers expecting an update from Rip. Instead, an unfamiliar voice speaks. The caller knows personal details about her life. Details that should be impossible for strangers to know. The voice calmly says, "Tell Rip this was just a warning." The line goes dead. Beth immediately realizes their enemies are much closer than anyone imagined. The episode's final moments are heartbreaking. Rip arrives at the hospital covered in dust, blood, and exhaustion.